Castillo, BS Criminology student at University of Mindanao. I'm here to discuss about the criminal law, which is the revised penal code, Article 14, aggravated circumstances. So there are 21 different sets of circumstances, which number one is that advantage be taken by the offender of his public position, which means the offender is the public positions. Number two, that the crime be committed in contempt or with insult to the public authorities, though the offend is the public authorities. Number three, that the act be committed with insult or in disregard of the respect due to the offender party on account of his rank, age, or sex, or that it be committed in dwelling of that offended party if the latter has not given provocation. And number four, that the act be committed with abuse of confidence or obvious ungratefulness. So which means that there would be help to you and you will disobey. And then the number five, that the crime be committed in the place of the chief executive or in his presence or where public authorities are engaged in the discharge of their duties or in a place dedicated to religious worship. Number six, that the crime be committed in the nighttime or in an uninhabited place or by a hand, whether such circumstances may facilitate the commission of the offense. Whenever more than three armed malefactors shall have acted together in the commission of an offense, it shall be deemed to have committed by a band. And number seven, that the crime be committed on an occasion of a conflagration, shipwreck, earthquake, epidemic, or other calamity or misfortune. Number eight, that the crime be committed with the aid of armed men or persons who ensure or afford impunity. Number nine, of the aggravating circumstances, that the accused is a recidivist. A recidivist is one who, at the time of his trial for one crime, shall have been previously convicted by final judgment of another crime embraced in the same title of this code. And number 10, that the offender has been previously punished for an offense to which the law attaches an equal or greater penalty, or for two or more crimes to which it attaches a lighter penalty. Number 11, that the crime be committed in the consideration of a prize, reward, or a promise. So, number 12, that the crime be committed by means of inundation, fire, poison, explosion, standing of a vessel, or intentional damage there to derailment of a locomotive, or by the use of any other artifice involving great waste and ruin. Number 13, that the act be committed which evident premeditation. Number 14, that the craft, fraud, or disguise be employed. Number 15, that advantage be taken of superior strength or means be employed to weaken the defense. And number 16, that the act be committed with treachery, aleviosa. There is treachery when the offender commits any of the crimes against a person, employing means, methods, or forms in the execution thereof which tends directly and specially to ensure its execution, without risk to himself arising from the defense which the offended party might make. So, until 21 different set of circumstances. And the next one is, what is aggravating circumstances? Those which, if attendant in the commission of the crime, serve to increase the penalty without however exceeding the maximum of the penalty provided by the law for the offense. When we say aggravating, so if the crime is, they have aggravating circumstances, so it will be applied the maximum penalty of the criminal. So in Article 64, rules for the application of penalties, which contain 3 periods. In cases in which the penalties prescribed by law contains 3 periods, the court shall observe the following rules, which is so like for example, the reclusion temporal, which means the penalty for homicide. So in the reclusion temporal, so these are the Article 76, legal period of duration of divisible penalty. The legal period of duration of divisible penalty shall be considered as divided into 3 parts, forming the 3 periods: the minimum, the medium, and the maximum. In this reclusion temporal, so these are the Article 76. There are three of the three of them, which is the minimum, medium, and maximum. So this is the rule. When there are neither aggravating nor mitigating circumstances, they shall impose the penalty prescribed by law in its medium period. It means that in the medium, no mitigating and no aggravating, so there will be the penalty with the medium. That is will be the means of the reclusion temporal. No mitigating and no aggravating. This will be the medium period. So, in aggravating circumstances, if there is aggravating, so it would be the maximum period of the maximum period. Even if there is more than one aggravating circumstances, it would be the same place as the maximum period of the penalty. So, what is the basis of the aggravating circumstances? Based on the greater perversity of the offender because of the motivating power itself. So, the example of the basis of the aggravated circumstances is the paragraph 11, that a crime be committed in consideration of a price, reward, or promise, which means that it will give you like example a money to commit a crime. So it bases on a reward that you will commit a crime. So number 2 is the place of commission. The best example of this is the paragraph number 3, to commit it in dwelling of the offended party, which means that you will kill the person inside of the house, or the person will sleep in and you will kill them. So that is the types of the basis of the number 2 of the basis of the aggravating circumstances. So number 3, the means and ways employed. So the best example of this is the paragraph 12, that the crime be committed by means of inundation, fire. You will fire the house of the victim. Poison, you poisons the victim, and the explosion, you will explosive the house or either the things that the victim, and that will be the examples of the number 3 of the basis of the aggravating circumstances. So the time of commission, the example is this, the paragraph number 7, that the crime be committed on the occasion of a conflagration, shipwreck, earthquake, epidemic, or other calamity or misfortune. If you committed the crime and it should be one of the epidemic, so you will be the greater perversity. So that would be the number 4 examples of the basis of the aggravating circumstances. Number 5 is a personal circumstance of the offender. In paragraph number 9, that the accused is a recidivist. If there would be a recidivist, you should be at the time of the trial for one crime shall have been previously convicted by the final judgment of another crime embraced in the same title of this code. So you will be the commit again in a same code of the criminal act, and you would be says that you are the aggravating circumstances that will be the maximum period of the penalty. So there are 4 kinds of aggravating circumstances. Number 1, the generally applied to all crimes. So which means all crimes will be generally to apply in paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 14, 18, 19, and 20. The opponents of the generic is the specific, apply only to particular crimes, which example of this is paragraph number 15, 16, 17, and 21. So in number 3, the kinds of aggravating, which is the qualifying, which means to change the nature of the crime according to 246. Murder, the paragraph 1 to 6 says the 1 to 6, it would be shows that in the article 14 with aggravating circumstances, if there would be present, so it would be the qualifier for the aggravating circumstances. The qualifying circumstances would be change the nature of the crimes. And number 4, the inherent means necessarily accompany the commission of the crime. So inherent would be example of evident premeditation. So robbery, theft, estafa, adultery, and combination. So which means that the crime will plan and strategy. So it will not increase the penalty of this inherent the kinds of the aggravating circumstances. So in aggravating circumstances which do not increase the penalty, so there would be the aggravating circumstances that do not increase the penalty. Number 1, which in themselves constitute a crime, and number 2, aggravating circumstances which included by law in defining a crime. So based on the article number 62, so in article 62, the same rule shall apply with respect to any aggravating circumstances. The word is the inherent in the crime to such a degree that it must be necessity accompany the commission thereof. And number 1, the paragraph 1 of the article 62, the aggravating circumstances which themselves constitute a specially punishable by law, or which are included by the law in defining a crime and prescribing the penalty thereof, shall not be taken into account for the purpose of increasing the penalty. An example of this crime is which the fire and the explosion included the law in defining a crime. Example is the fire and explosion, which means that if the arson will be create a fire, so that would be the crime, and it will not be increase the penalty. If the crime will be the crime will be included by the law, it will not be the maximum penalty that you have. And in the last one is inherent aggravating circumstances, that will be the discussed earlier, the inherent that cannot be increase the penalty. And that's all. Thank you.